Hey, you guys. This is the big reveal, everybody. This is what I look like.
Okay, so many questions.
Well,
little
listen,
time.
Only our YouTube audience will know. This is what living in a dungeon does to you.
How long are you going to be able to keep this up, huh, bud?
Keep what up?
Your unnatural physique.
My chipper demeanor?
Yeah, your
my
chipper
winning
demeanor.
attitude. The thing is you guys are talking about something you see at least every single time you come on down to my dungeon. And I get that it's surprising to you what you've done to me. It's great for you to notice after 400 years.
Well, actually, it's 2 years. And on that note, Kyle has a question.
Yeah, it has been 2 years, Seth.
Dear God.
2 years that we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah, nearly 2 years that we've been doing this podcast. And so I guess what more appropriate of a time, having 2 years passed and you looking like this, to ask you, do you have any predictions for the next 2 years?
Oh my God, so many.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Nostradamus proportion amount of predictions.
I can imagine.
One, every word's going to replace their vowels with the letter E.
Just in the English language, yeah.
English, Dutch, Chinese. They're all going to go E. We're going E in 2025, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
Music, too.
Second prediction. The letter E in Kyle's name is going to become an A.
Keela.
But the Y is going to be an E?
That's right. Well, sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Because it's a sometimes Y. So it becomes a sometimes E.
Emily, you're way ahead of me. And that's saying something considering how I look these days. Prediction number 3, though?
Yeah.
I know that you asked specifically for 3. As everybody does.
We did. We all heard it.
Mumbling becomes a new language, I think.
It becomes itself a language.
Yeah, like new syntax, new grammar comes from mumbling. Kind of sounds like...
Yeah.
That's 2026. 2025, right. All the vowels change.
Ease.
2026, everything changes. Welcome to Butter No Parsnips. Every week on Butter No Parsnips, your hosts Kyle Imperator and Emily Moyers take you on an adventure through the weird, wacky, wonderful, and sometimes even wicked world of one wayside word. Strange characters, delightful bits, and general joyousness abound. Join them as they test each other's etymological expertise.
Hey everybody, welcome to Butter No Parsnips. I'm Kyle Imperator.
I'm Emily Moyers, and we're here with our producer, Seth Glicksman.
That's right. And on that note, why am I here, actually? I haven't seen daylight in a long time, and it's weird to come up like this.
Yeah. I mean, we like it that way, but fantastic question, Seth. I mean, there's 2 reasons, all right? The first is that this is our 100th episode.
Hey, it is our 100th episode.
Yeah.
You guys wanted me here to celebrate this special occasion?
Sure.
I can tell you're being honest. I can tell.
Yeah, but there is like another more important reason, which is that there's something very dire that Kyle and I have to tell you. Kyle and I might have borrowed the Lexiconicon without permission.
You borrowed the Lexiconicon? The dark and mysterious book of Butter No Parsnips lore and ephemeral knowledge, of which I am the sole keeper?
We didn't mean to. It's just, we went down to your dungeon to return your bocce ball set, and then, we saw the Lexiconicon emitting this unholy glow. And then we both heard ancient whispers telling us to open it to a particular page.
Yeah, that is usually how it goes with the Lexiconicon.
Yeah.
And I can tell you from experience, you do not want to disobey those ancient whispers.
That's why you look like that, huh?
Tuesday, I look like a different guy. And it's Tuesday, today. Okay? I guess I forgive you for taking it because... that's how I got it. That's how I got it.
It was alarming.
But what What page did you find?
You're never going to believe this. We found a word.
Can you believe after all these years, I still don't believe it? And that's why I love that book. It is full of surprises.
It's full of words.
Keeps me on my toes and hung up from the ceiling like a bat.
Or on a post guarding a field of corn.
On the roof of a cathedral.
Or in the 10 Commandments film.
This is starting to run long, so let's maybe maybe hear the word.
Seth, your word today is Centiloquium. Centiloquium. Centiloquium.
Mumble, grumble, grumble.
Mumble. Yeah. Speaking a foreign language.
No, it's not 2026 yet. You can't.
You're right. That means nothing to you now, but get ready. You guys are going to laugh when you hear that in 2 years.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Centiloquium. I obviously see. Let's be honest right now. Centilo 100. And then it has the little tillo, meaning a little 100.
So 50.
99.
Yeah,
a little 100.
Well, this has got to be Latin.
Gotta be. No other language like it.
No other language like it.
No other American cuisine like it.
That's just when they feed you grapes from a chair.
Latin cuisine!
While you're wearing a toga.
Yeah. Okay, so it is Latin, and so that is 100. Loquy. Oh boy. Loquy. Oh. Colloquial?
Perhaps.
Is Centiloquium like the 100-plus-year-old population? Like the people in a community who are 100 or years old? Are they just
like
the old
centenarians?
People? Oh. Yes, but like the group name.
The group? I like
the
that
demonym
word.
So no, huh?
That's also incorrect, yeah.
But it's good, but I like it.
What does colloquial mean? Colloquial? Local 100? Oh, it's the local 100. It's a union. It's a workers' union.
You got it, Seth. This is a full-on union-related episode, and we're bringing it to you because Emily and I have decided to unionize.
I can't afford it. You guys pay me. All right, give me a hint.
All right, Seth. The hint we have for you is maxim.
Centiloquium and maxim. Is it just a phrase that has been around for a long time? Is it just a word? Is it? Please don't be so
you're dancing around it.
I've done so much for this. I give up.
So, specifically, a Centiloquium is a treatise formerly attributed to Ptolemy, consisting of 100 astrological aphorisms.
Astrological aphorism?
It's not a disease, I swear. The word can also mean more generally any collection of 100 sayings, propositions, or aphorisms, usually in the form of a literary work. So a book of 100 things, basically, is a Centiloquium.
Goodness. I love this. That was my thing when I would walk into bookstores when I was a young boy. I would find those books that were just like 100 crazy bears. And it would just be a book of 100 crazy bears. And I'd be like, I'm so glad they organized all these bears.
Yeah, there you go. That was a Centiloquium.
Yeah, Centiloquium Ursa Major, I guess.
This is great. I love this. So it's a noun, and you could say that this Centiloquium it's a collection of phrases. It's like, oh, I love that Centiloquium of bears.
Yeah, just like that of bears.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
You got it.
Cool. I love this. All right, take me on a journey.
Yeah, so as you correctly guessed, Seth, the word is a borrowing from the Latin Centiloquium, which has two parts to it.
Yeah, the first part is from centum, meaning 100, which comes from the Proto-Italic centum and Proto-Indo-European cuntum, which may be a derivation from decum, meaning 10, itself possibly originating from compt, meaning hand, which, I mean, we can assume because of the 10 fingers there, right?
So as you might be wondering, tome is also the root from whence we get the English 100 through the Proto-Germanic hunda, which meant 100.
Whoa. Those don't even sound alike. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, but it might be like a really throaty H, you know, like a hunda.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hunda.
And that was combined with the Proto-Germanic rada, which meant count. So hunda rada. Hunda rada.
Okay. Hunda rada.
100 count.
I'm going to start saying it that way. And that way, I'll ostracize myself from everyone I know.
Even further. We'll put you in a lower dungeon.
No, that's for episode 200. We find out what's down there, folks. Get ready for it. 2026.
Stick around.
So the second part of the word arrives from the Latin loquor, meaning to say, speak, tell, talk, or utter, from the Proto-Italic Tiloquor, meaning to speak, and the Proto-Indo-European tailqua, meaning to talk. And no, this is not where we get talk from, in case you were wondering.
Which is crazy.
Beautiful.
But you might recognize that root loquor in more familiar words like soliloquy, the act of talking to yourself, essentially meaning I speak alone. Solo-loquy.
Oh.
Yeah. You were right with colloquial, but wrong about how it
what it
parses
meant.
Out.
Yeah. I had no way to actually figure that out, you know?
Loquial as in like us speaking, and co as in we speak together. So it's like, this is what we all speak.
I love this.
Centiloquium thus also sometimes appears as centiloquy and sometimes as centilogy, mimicking words like eulogy or apology.
Oh.
And actually, centilogy appeared first in English sometime before the year 1400, and then the other spellings didn't appear until the 1500s.
Centiloquy, how would you use that exactly? Like what?
In the same way, it's just a different way to say it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So you would you still refer to like a tome or a book as a centiloquy?
Yeah. It's easier to pluralize, to say centiloquies than centiloquia.
Gotcha.
So as I mentioned at the top, the original and most iconic Centiloquium was the one attributed to 2nd century Alexandrian astrologer Claudius Ptolemaeus, more commonly known as Ptolemy.
Love that guy. Where have we heard of his name before? Somewhere.
So listeners might recognize Ptolemy. I think we've brought his name up on the podcast before in connection with his work, The Almagest.
Oh, yeah!
Which is, I think, most well known for refining the geocentric model of the universe. The wrong one, where everything went around the Earth.
Right. The wrong one. Don't listen to the fake news media, folks.
We're on Truth Social at Butter No Parsnips.
The earliest copy of this Centiloquium that we know of is from the 10th century. Egyptian mathematician Ahmad ibn Yusuf wrote a commentary on these 100 aphorisms and then included the original text citing Ptolemy as its author.
Oh.
There are like inconsistencies with Ptolemy's other work, so we don't think he actually wrote it. It's been posited that maybe Ahmad wrote the Centiloquium himself and then used Ptolemy's name to give it more authority, but we don't know.
That's the way to do it. That's just like how I keep writing these manifestos under the J.K. Rowling pseudonym.
Yeah, all those tweets, she didn't say those.
Yes.
That's me, folks.
Yeah. And in that same way, by the 1500s, Ptolemy's Centiloquium was considered pseudepigraphic, which is just a fancy way of saying falsely attributed. And today, its author is often referred to as pseudo-Ptolemy. In this case, we would refer to those tweets as pseudo-Rowling.
Wait, so it's like as of today, it is determined that was not Ptolemy?
I mean, it's not determined. We just are like, probably not, you know?
I think all of the Centiloquiums that we know of are of suspect authorship.
I mean, one of them for sure, because we don't know if that person existed. So
why do Centiloquiums attract such liars?
They're texts of mystery.
And deceit.
That's right. But regardless, the Centiloquium was very influential in astrology, a field where all of the information is normally so trustworthy.
And I know it. Did you know that today I was supposed to have a good day and that I would meet a cat named Mr. Tom?
And it didn't happen? That's so weird.
Most of it didn't happen. Mostly the good day part. I did meet a cat named Mr. Tom, though.
We see like a tail in the foreground of Seth's frame.
It's not a cat tail.
It's just a fish tail.
It's the plant, a cat tail.
Watch us on YouTube, folks.
You're missing out. Yes, but this text was widely known in the scholarly world at the time, translated into not just Arabic, but also Hebrew and Latin.
So, Seth, in addition to Centiloquium, in Greek, the text was sometimes referred to as the karpos, which meant fruit or harvest. And because it was dubbed the fruit, quote unquote, of Ptolemy's earlier and now more well-known astrological work, the Tetrabiblos.
Which we've also talked about before.
I might have missed something. This is still referring to the same work?
Yeah, Ptolemy's Centiloquium.
Got you. Okay.
And it was sometimes stuck on as an epilogue to the Tetrabiblos, which is, I think, why it was called like the fruit of that work.
It was stuck onto the end of the Tetrabiblos?
Like it would be the publishing of the Tetrabiblos, and then also, here's a bonus, the Centiloquium.
How long are we talking here? You just got a bonus book? It was like a...
Well, it's just 100 sentences, basically.
Yeah.
They love to gab, though. They squeeze a lot between the beginning and that period, you know?
It's true. They were all Ciceronian sentences, so basically run-ons.
Yeah. In Arabic, the Centiloquium was called the Kitab al-Tamra, or Book of the Fruit. And in Latin, it was sometimes called the Liber Fructus. Same thing.
Interesting. Okay, so all of these cultures are using this book.
It was really popular.
Yeah.
Because astrology and astronomy and mathematics and science were all like rolled into this is just what academia is. So if you read books, you know all of these fields.
All these people were like astrologers and mathematicians, and it was like...
And doctors, which is the scary part.
And somehow water polo players?
Yeah.
Well, back then, those were the people you had to trust the most. If you could hit a ball while sitting on a horse, there was nothing you couldn't do.
You think that water polo's played on horses, huh?
I thought seahorses, yeah.
So the earliest translation of this text to English that we know of was by the astrologer Henry Coley in 1676 as a part of his work Clavis Astrologiae Elimata, or A Key to the Whole Art of Astrology, New Filed and Polished.
So this was sort of like an introduction to astrology, and it included translations of three centiloquies. In addition to Ptolemy's, there was one from a character who's reared his head on our podcast before, Hermes Trismegistus, and one from Arabic astrologer Al-Batani, aka Bethem.
So where are we talking? Circa when?
1600s. Was when it was translated.
1600s. Okay. And so this wasn't necessarily for the common people.
No, it was for astrologers.
For astrologers. Yeah. That's fun. How do you think you got started in that back then?
I would say it was either by birth or cult ritual.
You started with a column that you pinned on a door. You got your name out there.
Yeah, 99 of them. It was basically a centiloquy of theses that you had pinned to a door.
You'd rip it off and be like, a cat named Mr. Tom. I like this guy.
I'm going to get into this. Yeah.
Seth, if you're curious, we did find a few other centiloquies. Many of them were just not in English. Like, they've never been translated. So, like, it was just hard to say what they were about. But one of them was originally attributed to Occam of Occam's razor.
But, like, nobody thinks it was actually from him.
Yeah.
Why is this the nature of these things?
I don't know.
It's just the running theme. And, like, just to be clear, like, Trismegistus is a legendary figure. So the idea that this text is attributed to him is just insane.
Don't know if he existed. Yeah.
It's also kind of strange that these people didn't write their own centiloquies, considering that, like, I feel like lists of 100 are pretty, like, that could happen. Like, that could happen by chance.
I mean, to be fair, that might have happened. They just weren't called centiloquies at the
second
time.
they were called centiloquies, they were like, don't put my name on that. I won't be caught writing that trash.
That's a dirty word.
I'll put another thing on that list. I'll
make it 101. What do you do
Then what do you call it?
These three centiloquies by Ptolemy, Trismegistus, and Bethem are the most well-known centiloquies, and they're often spoken about together as a trio, partially because they were compiled and translated in this singular volume to English. And also, it's because they are concerned with something which we will get to later called horary astrology.
Horary.
Horary.
When I was little, I had a speech impediment that prevented me from pronouncing R's. And here we are. Horary.
That's why we made this episode.
How do you spell it?
Horary. Horary.
Horary. Time.
Yeah. So we'll get into that in a minute, but we first have to mention that the authority on this type of astrology
Authority and horary.
The horary authority.
Take me out to town. I want to meet the authority on horary.
I think I have to go to Florida.
The Florida authority on horary?
Yes, that man is one William Lilly, who lived in the 17th century and wrote the very influential astrological text, Christian Astrology.
We're going to be honest, Seth. The main reason that we have to mention William Lilly is that every description sums him up in the same fantastic way.
I love that.
Kyle, can I read it?
Go for it, Em.
Yeah, right. And I quote, William Lilly, known as the English Merlin to his friends, and that juggling wizard and imposter to his enemies.
So sorry, Seth. You're gonna have to take.
The
Wait a
position's
second.
taken.
Are you talking about Bill?
That juggling wizard and imposter.
Well, I'll be. I didn't realize. We're going to be talking about him today?
Yeah. Lilly himself published, and it seems to be, if judging from Wikipedia, his first published work, a text titled Merlinus Anglicus Jr. I also looked up, he published another one, about the English Merlin. He just called himself the English Merlin. Yeah.
So when it was when they said the English Merlin by friends, they just meant the English Merlin by himself.
By me, my only friend.
I'm the best friend I could ever have.
And everyone else said, hey, you juggling wizard.
When they say juggling, do they mean like a bumbling? Or do they mean he was like...
We have no idea. Every biography of him used that same phrase.
Juggling?
And I don't know what is first. Specifically, that juggling wizard and imposter. And I don't know who said it first. I don't know if it was just an author editorializing that everyone quoted as fact, or if there is a historical reference. I can't tell.
I do want to say, I just did a quick search just to see if I could come up with anything. I did find a quote in a text by William Lilly, where he writes, "Let us in England beware of shuffling and juggling, of packing and craftly sly pretenses. For Mercury tells us all this," and then he goes on about more astrological nonsense.
Like a horoscope or however you want to call it.
Yeah, he's saying that earthquakes and fire breaking out of the clouds are going to happen. He was just predicting things most of the time.
Gotcha. Well, that's what you do. That's what Bill did.
So, again, this trilogy of centilogies that we've been talking about focus on the practice of horary astrology. I'm assuming you have not heard of this, Seth?
No, I've never heard of this. However, I understand that a horoscope obviously has the same root. And a horoscope, I'm guessing, just means looking through time. So horary is just time magic.
I'm wondering how it actually works into horoscope. I don't know exactly, but horary is a word that can mean a couple things. It can mean pertaining to an hour or pertaining to hours. It can mean occurring every hour or hourly, right? Something that is horary can occur on the hour every hour.
Oh, like an adjective.
Mm-hmm.
Like a horary train.
Whoa, what a terrible word to drop on a stranger.
Horary train. This train runs horary. What?
It does what? Get me off of this train!
It can also mean having the duration of an hour, and in like a figurative sense mean short-lived.
So you definitely don't want to be on a horary train.
Yeah, I had a horary relationship with her, you know?
So, yeah, if you were to be on a horary train, what it means depends on how you say it. like, if you're like, oh, yeah, it's a horary train, another will be coming. If you're like, this train will be horary today. Get me off of here.
Yeah. So when applied to astrology, the term refers to the practice of attempting to answer a question by constructing a horoscope for the exact time that the question was received.
Oh.
As opposed to the more common natal astrology, which bases its horoscopic charts on the time and place when a person was born.
So the question comes up and you're immediately like, all right, what were the stars saying at that moment? And that's your answer.
Yeah, at the moment that the astrologer receives the question.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Seth, do you want to try this out for yourself?
Well, gosh golly, do I?
Yeah, we can go through it right now.
I can ask a question?
No. Well, no, we're going to go through the process for you. Then you can ask a question if you want.
You're going to go through the process?
Yeah, you can ask a question, but let's give you the rules.
Oh, okay. This just became more like a DMV astrology appointment. He said if you don't have your paperwork, you're going to have to go to the back of the line.
Yeah. Wait till we take your picture.
No.
So in this process, Seth, a querent, or a person with a question, you, in this case, approaches an astrologer, us, with a burning question that can't be about the past, and it can't be about death. So, like, will I find my keys? Am I pregnant? Can I has cheeseburger?
Gotcha.
Oh, wait, what's your question for us? You are the querent. Ask us a question.
Okay. Can I ask like specific questions? Can I be like, how much money will I spend tomorrow?
Sure.
I want a right answer.
Okay.
God, I need a right answer.
So now we take the thing that's being asked about, which is, I guess, your finances, and that becoes the quaesited. That is the topic, is the quaesited.
The quaesited?
And that is...
Whoa, how do you spell that?
Queseted. For most of the time that we were working on this, we assumed it was pronounced quaesited, but it's not, apparently.
And that's a noun.
Yeah, that is like the topic that we're talking about.
I love this.
And that is assigned an astrological house based on the subject matter.
Like Hufflepuff?
Well, so like in regular horoscopes and natal astrology, there are houses which they have to do with the sky and like from where you are on Earth and what the sky looks like, and it's like quadrants of the sky, and basically they just say, all right, this quadrant's going to be for finances, this quadrant's going to be for friends, this quadrant's going to be for friends that you only see once in a while.
Gotcha. So it's like palmistry for the sky.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So once you have determined which house you are referring to, you then determine which ruling planets or significators are associated with, separately, the querent and the quaesited.
Can we just really take a moment to enjoy the idea of a person explaining this to a first timer in like the 1700s? Right.
It's going to be really simple, okay? Okay, all right, okay, good. So you should take a little bit of this morphine in my wine. Oh,
it's really good. Ted, you gotta stop listening to this juggling wizard and imposter. I gotta get you out of here.
He said like 3 words I've never heard before. How am I supposed to stop listening?
This is how he gets you, man.
Next, I'll need a human heart.
Perfect. Take mine.
Ted, think it through.
So you determine which ruling planets are associated separately with the querent and the quaesited, and then you can use this to decide their individual states. So in this case, what is the state of your potential finances, and what is your state, right?
Put one over the other. Decide the difference.
Yeah. And then, carry the 2. It's all good.
Get the remainder and you're good.
Then you say, all right, these are their separate states. How are these states going to interact? So, for an example, Ptolemy's 64th aphorism in his Centiloquium states, "When thou hast considered the lord of the question, see what essential dignity he hath in the querence annual revolution, and give judgment accordingly."
So if we're going to judge Seth's dignity, we're starting... Yeah, all the way down those stairs to the dungeon.
Are you down there?
Yeah, so bing, bang, boom, you got your answer. There it is.
Oh, yeah. What's the answer?
You get it.
Yeah, you know.
I get it. I get it. I get it. All right. And I can't not get it, because look at me.
Look at this guy. This is a guy that gets it. So, believe it or not, Ptolemy's Centiloquium had a big influence on historical thinkers. This was like a big thing. One small piece of evidence that we have is the maxim sapiens dominabitur astris, or the wise man shall master the stars. And that has been used by astrologists and philosophers from the 13th through 17th centuries.
That's NASA's slogan, right?
Close.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I think astris is in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was just up, and away.
So the maxim sapiens dominabitur astris is thought to be derived at least partially from the aphorisms in Ptolemy's Centiloquium, such as the saying, "He that is skillful may divert many effects of the stars when he knows their natures, and will prepare himself before their event or coming."
So that Latin phrase also happens to appear on the emblem for Ukraine's main Directorate of Intelligence, chosen in 2016 in response to Russia's military intelligence motto, "Above us only stars."
Both Russia and Ukraine had taken inspiration, or just Ukraine had taken inspiration?
Just Ukraine.
Russia, yeah, Russia did theirs, and then Ukraine was like, "If you're the stars, we're gonna know you better than you think."
We're gonna master the stars.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Relevant.
Lastly, Seth, for clarity, a Centiloquium need not be specifically astrological, just a list of approximately 100 items.
Yeah. Take, for example, one 1698 author, after listing 104 statements from someone he disagreed with, wrote, "Such are his centiloquy of lies and falsehoods."
Oh, I love it.
So it's like a litany.
But like, it needs to be up there enough.
About 100.
Yeah.
Enough that you're rounding.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Gotcha. Love that.
Seth, I hope we've inspired you to
have.
master the stars.
And I will.
Or perhaps spin a centiloquy of lies and falsehoods.
Yes.
Either way, before we can return the Lexiconicon to your possession, you are obligated to answer one final question.
Can you use Centiloquium in a sentence?
In order to get my book back, I intend to send both of you a Centiloquium of all the reasons I deserve not just one, to have the book, but two, to get out of this dungeon. To be on Earth again.
Hey, you know, buddy, we've done 100 episodes together. We'll think about it.
That's more than I've ever gotten.
And you used the word correctly. Very good.
Nice.
Okay, it's time to play a game. It was Donkey Kong. So, Seth, the reason Emily and I brought you this word in the first place,
right,
is that Butter No Parsnips' sacred tome, the Lexiconicon, has a Centiloquium.
Oh, well, my F.
To be more precise, it has a Centilexiloquium, which is the name of the game.
Centilexiloquium. Yeah.
Centilexiloquium, that is 100 aphorisms that tell us how to answer astrological questions using words.
Well, I just turned this into a cowboy hat. We're going for a ride. All right.
That's right, partner. In this kind of astrology, a querent opens the Lexiconicon with a burning question that can't be about the past, and it can't be about bocce ball.
Damn.
And then the quasided, or should I say queso-added, is assigned a word based on the subject matter.
So for this minigame, Seth, we thought you could try out this lexical astrology. We're going to ask you a question. You don't have to answer the question, but you do have to assign it a word so that we can ask the Lexiconicon for the answer. Mm-hmm. But the word you assign it should be etymologically related to either centum, 100, or loquor, to speak.
Okay. Okay. All right. You had me. That was a long walk, and I wasn't quite following for a while.
You're gonna guess the word.
I gotcha.
Okay. The first question that I'm thinking is, Seth, are we doomed to have words like sigma and skibbity permanently entered into our everyday informal vernacular?
Colloquium? Colloquium? Or are we just doing colloquialisms?
Yeah.
Just colloquial.
Look at me. I'm ruining it. I'm ruining it already.
No, you got it.
I'm going back to the dungeon. I know I am.
No, you got it right, buddy.
Okay. All right. Cool. Colloquial.
All right. Next question. Will we, us three, ever command a Patreon army that is 100 patrons strong?
A sentry. No. A sentry.
Make it longer.
Yeah, centrium. Sentinel.
A Roman version, perhaps.
A Roman? Central, centering, center of all might, the city of Rome. Come on down. I have no idea. I cannot get this one.
Centurion is a commander of like a brigade of 100.
It's not necessarily 100, but that's where the word originated from. It was the insinuation of 100. All right, Seth. Will we be still making this podcast until we're all over 100 years old?
You mean centenarians?
You got it.
You got it.
Or
all
dead.
Right, you're 2 for 3. Dead. That's more likely. So you're 2 for 3. We've got one last bonus, and it's a bonus because you won't get it.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm going back to the dungeon.
The question is, should we start uncensoring all of Gross Kyle's unseemly language?
I'm really not going to get it?
No.
Oh.
This is a word defined in Thomas Blount's dictionary Glossographia and nowhere else.
You brought a Haypax today? All right, I got no idea.
It is a tortiloquy, which he defines as crooked talk.
Tortiloquy.
Tortiloquy.
I love that.
From the adjective tortuous, meaning winding.
Love it.
It's a good word.
Yeah. You're basically 3 for 3. Congrats, Seth.
I win.
Sure,
the podcast will exist for another 2 years, is what we've determined.
Thank God.
Oh, that's terrific. This was terrific, you two. Wow. What a wonderful jaunt through word this was. Listen, hey, we're 100 episodes in. We've done a magnificent job. Let's do another 100. Let's go all the way for another 2,000. And then we'll celebrate our own little Y2K. Am I right?
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Maybe. You don't seem too enthused. I'll be deep. I'll be in the second dungeon by then, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think every year we're just going to put you down another.
Is that why there's always construction going on down there?
Yeah,
You're just
don't
digging
worry
deeper.
about it. Eventually it'll just be a bottomless pit. We'll toss you in and it's easier to count. Oh, well, listen, everybody at home, if you've appreciated our last 100 episodes, or if you're brand new to the podcast, Thank you so much. Remember, you can find Butter No Parsnips on social media, on Facebook and Instagram at Butter No Parsnips Podcast, and on TikTok at Butter No Parsnips, and on YouTube at Butter No Parsnips, and online at our website, butternoparsnipspodcast.com. And if you liked today's episode, consider giving us a 5-star rating or review wherever you heard us.
Yeah, and if you really liked today's episode, consider donating to our Patreon. That's right, we're there too, at patreon.com/butternoparsnips. Donating $5 or more earns you a shout out, either on social media or right here on the podcast.
Thanks so much to all of you. You help us make what we make.
And with that, I've been Kyle Imperator.
I've been Emily Moyers.
I've been Seth Glixman, and this has been Butter No Parsnips.
Butter No Parsnips is produced by Seth Glixman, Emily Moyers, and myself, Kyle Imperator. The main and accompanying themes were composed by Kyle Imperator.